What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMVSportsZone. We got another special stream, a Saturday breakfast edition of Commanders Weekly with Pedro Smith. Pedro, how are you doing, bro? And thanks for coming on again.
Pretty solid. Would be better if the record was better, though.
Okay, Abdullah, how are you?
I mean, same thing with Pedro. If I had a better record, I feel better. But hey, gotta be optimistic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I mean, I hate to take a look back, right, at what was on Sunday, but what are your guys' last thoughts on Washington's loss against the Eagles on Sunday? We'll start with Pedro on this one.
I mean, there's nothing else to say. It was just terrible. Another first half, just awful performance, awful start to the game, 24-0. This is just a common theme with Rivera teams that they start off really slow in the first half, and then they usually come back a little bit in the second half, but it's like when you're down 24-0 or 22-0 like you were in the Lions game, like it's hard to come back from that. You might, make a little bit of a run like you did in the Lions game, but if you would have just did that earlier, maybe you would have won the game. What's up, Protect? But yeah, the defense, I think the defense was better, but still not good in my opinion. Like they allowed 24 points in one quarter, and the Eagles, I think, definitely took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. But the best performance probably by the defense so far this year, and that's not saying much, but it was better. And the offense was just abysmal. Scott Turner wasn't good. Wentz was not good, and the offensive line was terrible. And yeah, just all around a bad performance by the offense, and they got to improve this week against Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro said it best. It was very, very pathetic. I mean, what do you expect from our defense when their offense is 3 and out, or just turning the ball over, punting possession after possession? If they don't really fix it up, this Dallas game really could be ugly, just like last year in Sunday Night Football. Hopefully not that ugly, but it could be bad.
Yeah, Brandon, our boy Brandon, I'm gonna play to Dallas. He's a Cowboys fan, so from the DMV, so yes, he deserves all the hate that goes his way as a fan. But no, but I appreciate you, Brandon, for coming in. I know you're headed to the game. Hope you have a great time on Sunday. And I don't know, you might have a great time with my prediction of the game towards the end of the stream. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the game, Hawk TV, you were in the live stream last week. I mean, I had to tell the OGs of the DMV Sports 3 about how, I didn't believe our chances were super high of eking out a W against the Eagles for a whole assortment of reasons. Number one was because in the offseason, Pedro, I don't know if you remember this, I was talking up Jalen Hurts as being an MVP candidate, as someone who I thought could take a Josh Allen type of progression in his career. And I think so far, so good in terms of that prediction. And unfortunately for us, we have to deal with that problem. But yeah, I mean, he was lights out throughout much of the first half, especially. I mean, he had 330 plus yards. I think it was 3 touchdowns in the first half, which is absolutely inexcusable by this defense. You had Swole Batman and Thin Batman and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith doing whatever they wanted against us. I mean, some good moments from our team. I agree, Pedro. Our defense wasn't atrocious. It was just really our offense that didn't get going. But now we're gonna be facing the Dallas Cowboys, right? Another pretty good defense. But before even getting into that matchup, I want your guys' thoughts on the biggest NFL story, especially since this past Thursday night, but really the entire week, and that is Tua's injury situation, his concussion situation. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on how the Miami Dolphins handled all of that? Whether there might be, an investigation that might be underway for the Dolphins, and maybe they might get punished for what's going on with Tua. What are you guys' thoughts on all that? We'll start with the duel on this one.
I really think he shouldn't have been playing. I mean, when I saw that hit, I just saw it on Twitter when he was doing he was moving it with his fingers. I just knew that was bad, and I don't know. I feel like there will be an investigation, but at the end of the day, I'm praying for Tua. I was literally hoping this guy would pan out, and literally when he started playing good and proving the haters wrong, this happened. It's so unfortunate, and this is a huge thing. I remember, I think it was Emmanuel Acho. He talked about how the NFL concussion protocol is such a joke because I remember, and it was on TikTok. I remember he got concussed, right? And he was put back in the game, and they only asked him 2 questions. One of the questions was what day it was. Obviously, it's NFL Sunday, so he said Sunday. And the second one question was who was the president at the time, and I think it was Barack Obama. So it's just a joke. And literally, when he got back, like he didn't know where he was when he went back home. So this concussion protocol thing, obviously, we want players to play, but if they physically cannot play, you got to put their health first. And the NFL investigation, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a weird situation. I mean, obviously, like, I don't understand how you can like get hit in the head like that in the the Bills game and then just stumble because of a back injury. Like, it doesn't really make
Because
sense.
it's wobbly.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I just don't like. I don't know how you can be that stupid of like a medical staff and things like that to clear a guy this day and age with like all the attention on it and also like the ability to just like see if they did it wrong and like it was obvious what happened, like you could see it. Like, I don't know if a medical staff is that stupid to like actually do that, but maybe they were. So we'll see in the investigation. And obviously the hit in the game was really bad as well. And yeah, hopefully he's all good and hopefully he doesn't even play next week.
Yeah, that's a great point right there at the end. Hopefully he doesn't play, but I mean, yeah, I said this before and I'll say it again. Outside of the local DMV teams, including the HOKIE team, which we'll talk about, I am a Bama Crimson Tide fan, and I was a huge fan of Tua in college, and I've been rooting for him ever since. Like Abdul has just said, he's been proving a lot of people wrong with his play this season, and it just sucks to see how he's being treated by Miami Dolphins. I know there was a report that right after the game, which I don't know why he would go on a plane, right, when he pretty much has a concussion, but he was on a plane and there was a report that, he was sitting next to the coach, Mike McDaniels. They were watching a movie, or he was laughing the whole entire time, and everything was resolved from the situation. And I think it was Swagoo on ESPN First Take mentioned how it might have been Swagoo or someone else, but they were like, okay, that's great. Your coach is there for you now. But, years down the line, the people who are actually going to be there for you and like might be taking care of you when you get older, that's going to be your wife and kids, right? And like for this whole situation to pan out the way that it did, that's going to only leave it more difficult for them later on. And obviously yourself as well, dealing with the type of concussions that you've dealt with this week and, back to back, it's just crazy. He should have never played on Thursday night, right? And given that he did, I don't know. I'm worried about his health, let alone his, playing future. And it sucks because I know, he's pushing for that big money that's coming up, if not this offseason, that's coming up, the one after that. So I know there's a lot of pressure on him and all the talks about him not being the answer at quarterback in Miami and how, there's obviously the Deshaun Watson link with the Miami Dolphins for much of the last couple of years and them wanting to go after him. So, but yeah, it's absolutely inexcusable how the situation panned out. I mean, the Hawk TV here, man, I thought he broke his fingers from holding onto the football as he went to the ground. Come to find that it was a response to head trauma. Yeah, I think it's called posturing. And yeah, it's a direct response to severe head trauma. And it was definitely a scary sight. And again, just doesn't make sense for him to play 4 days after what we saw on Sunday, where this man was wobbling around. Not only that, his knees were I don't know what the correct terminology is, but they were pointing inward. Like you could tell, and he was trying to shake off the cobwebs in his head as well. You could tell he was not right. And for him to play 4 days later, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Hawk TV here talking about my other team that I won't mention on here, but we'll see, Hawk. We'll see. I have a jersey of that team already. That's not LeBron jersey, but we'll see if I get one. And I want to talk to you guys about this because we are unveiling and playing in our black jerseys for the first time this season. Now they're up for pre-orders as well on the team website. I agree with Hawk TV here. This seems very much like the move from last year when we try to bring in our own benches to show up like our NFC East opponents and fell flat after that. I mean, this is giving very much the same energy. I don't know, Pedro, if you have thoughts on this.
I don't really care that much. I think that they made the alternate uniforms this year for a reason. You got to wear them at some point. And I know they scheduled to wear them with the Vikings game, but I feel like just one time this season is kind of a waste for your alternate uniform. So I don't really mind it that much. But yeah, I could see where people are going with that. Also see people like Washington's dressing for their own funeral, stuff like that. I also just I don't understand why the first 3 games were all white uniforms. Like I don't understand why they didn't wear the burgundy at least once. It doesn't make sense to me because yeah, that was just what I thought there. But yeah, the black uniforms, gonna be excited to see what those look like on field, and we'll see if we win. That's the most important part right there.
Facts.
To sum it up, I don't care what we wear. Pink, red, blue, green, orange. I want to win. Wear what you want. Just win the game. That's pretty much it.
Agreed. Yeah, those unis are sick. I hate. You guys might have a different opinion, but I absolutely despise that W on the front of the helmet. I've been saying it since they revealed the entire uniform and the helmet, and I'm gonna say it now. I'm sorry, guys. I can't buy into it. I thought I could get used to it after a couple months, but maybe I'll get used to it once they start playing in them. We'll see. But I don't know, man. And the L jokes are gonna come. As soon as we start losing, you're gonna turn that W to an L on memes and stuff. But yeah. Okay. So I also want to ask you guys, because we did get somewhat of an update on the Brian Robinson situation, as well as Chase Young, that they are trending towards, eventually playing. And maybe Brian Robinson could play next week. We'll see. But what are you guys' thoughts on both of those players coming back and how much of a difference they will make to our team? We'll start with Abdul.
We desperately need them. Again, if Chase is not ready, I say we don't push him. We don't get him soon. We get him as soon as possible. But if he's not ready, don't push him sooner rather than later. And Brian, obviously, we would need him because his running game. If Antonio Gibson can't read the holes, we've clearly seen. And Scott Turner needs a guy that can just pound the ball like Brian Robinson. If he's there, get him up, and it would be a huge boost for this offense. I really think so because, like you said, you were hyping him up when we drafted him, our sleeper pick. And if Chase comes back, hopefully he's that generation talent that we all are talking about. So it'd be huge.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Brian Robinson back because the run game hasn't been great. I mean, in the Eagles game, it was actually solid for a little bit, but then they got away from it, and then Gibson did a negative 10-yard run, which is like, man, he tries to do a little too much. Like he tries to do too much, too many cutbacks and stuff like that. But it is what it is. He's okay. Like as a running back, he's okay. I wish they would use him. Like I loved how they used him in the Jacksonville game. I hope when Brian Robinson comes back, that's how they use Gibson, just as a pass catcher. I mean, not just as a pass catcher, but like 10 carries and then the rest are to Robinson instead of what he's getting right now, which is all the carries. And so I think Brian Robinson will definitely be a huge boost to this offense, to this running game. I think it'll change how the offense looks. They'll be running the ball a little bit more than they were the first few weeks. And then Chase Young, excited to see him back. I mean, it's just going to be a little frustrating because I think it's going to be a slow start for him, understandably so. Like when you're coming back from an ACL injury, it takes you, even once you get back, once you're cleared, it takes you a few weeks at least to like get back into things, get used to playing on it after the surgery. So I think a lot of fans are going to be frustrated with Chase Young's production in the first few weeks. Still, though, I think 75% Chase Young is better than James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, and what we've had. So we'll see what Chase Young does. I'm really going to be judging. Let's say Chase Young comes back week 8. I'll be judging what he does more week 12 to week 18. And I said that all year. Like even when I thought he was coming back week 1, when it was like in like January, February, I thought he was going to be coming back week 1. I was saying like, I'm not really going to be judging him his first 5, 6, 7 weeks. It's going to be the second half of the year. So I'm kind of going to stick to that. And then also I want to say something like, Montez Sweat has to step up. He has been a no-show, and I don't care like what the analytics want to say, like, oh, he's gotten some pressures. Well, great, but like you can get as many pressures as you want. Like, at the end of the day, I need some sacks from you. He always seems to get there a little bit too late. He's a good run defender, but pass rushing wise, he's done almost nothing this year besides force one intentional grounding. And like, yeah, he's double teamed. I don't care. Like, just get to the QB, do what you need to do. He hasn't done it this year. He really didn't do it at times last year. Like, he's been worse this year than he was last year, in my opinion. Yeah, and it's only been 3 games, but he's got to step up if he wants to get a big contract, because it looks like it'll be pain and not sweat.
Yeah, and we say this with Chase Young. We said this last year with Chase Young when he had a sack and a half through 9 games. And I'll say it here too. Like, for edge rushers, obviously sacks aren't everything, but I mean, as an edge rusher, sacks are like the number one thing that you need to get, right? So I completely understand that point, Pedro. Sweat hasn't had any sacks, I believe, to start the season, and we're through 3 weeks. I mean, he's supposed to be the one that's stepping up with Chase Young out, but it just hasn't been that way. And meanwhile, Deron Payne, who's up for a contract, right? A lot of people are talking about how it's going to either be Payne or Sweat, one or the other. He's been stepping up and playing very well, and maybe he might be here for the long term. We'll see. But Abdullah, thoughts on Chase Young, Brian Robinson, the impact they'll make, and
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I just think if Chase comes back, it's gonna take some time, like Pedro said. But I think fans will just give up on him too soon, which I'm afraid of what's gonna happen because we give up too quick on players. But we're going on to Montez, like I really haven't seen anything. I remember when we first drafted him, we traded up for him. I remember a couple of years ago, and he was supposed to be like the sleeper pick of the best edge rusher in the draft, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just the technique or if it's just he's not getting there, coaching. I don't know if it's in his head. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting there, you're not getting any sacks, then you're not worthy of getting that contract. And I remember all of training camp, it was Montez bullying this person, Montez bullying that person. Well, clearly, so far in the regular season, we haven't seen anything. So,
yeah, I think that says more about our offensive line than Montez Sweat. But shout out Rep the District for joining. Great content creators in our community. I didn't even say this at the beginning, but Pedro's the man, guys. You guys saw the GOAT next to his picture on our thumbnail. Go sub him up. Make sure, I believe, to link his channel in the description. Pedro Smith, if you haven't already. Chances are very slim that you have it. But yeah, Pedro, great content creator. And again, thank you, bro, for coming on this Saturday morning. But okay, so we talked about Brian Robinson, Chase Young. I think Brian Robinson, is going to be super good for us. Abdullah mentioned it earlier. I've been high on him throughout the offseason. And, sucks what happened to him. Very tragic what happened to him a couple of weeks before the season started. But he's the type of bruiser, the type of actual runner with running instincts that we need at the running back position. And been high on him since Bama, too. He was really good then. He had, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns last season. And a lot of people forget he also had 300 receiving yards, I believe, as well. He has some pass catching chops as well as being good in pass protection. And he's a total package at running back. And there's a reason why he was the starter on the depth chart going into the season. Chase Young, meanwhile, 1.5 sacks through 9 games. I can't get that out of my head. The name is great, Chase Young, Ohio State second overall pick, but the impact needs to be great as well. And we'll see if that actually happens. Pedro mentioned he might start off slow. I also believe he might start off slow, which sucks because by the time he comes back, it's probably going to be, half of the season left, if that. So, and we might be, pushing for something at the end of the season. We'll see. But, yeah, I don't know about Chase Young. I think the jury's still out on him. But moving on from the players, I want to talk about this coaching staff, man. Is the entire staff right now on the hot seat, Pedro?
In terms of this season getting fired, I don't think any of them really have a good chance of getting fired. Maybe Del Rio if it really turns bad, but I don't think Rivera's gonna do it. I don't think he's I'm not saying it shouldn't. Or
but Pedro, what if he doesn't have to and Rivera himself gets fired?
I would say absolutely 0% chance Dan Snyder fires him mid-season. I don't see it. What is Dan Snyder gonna sell to the fans? Who's the coach out there? He
doesn't care about the fans, bro.
Yeah, clearly for the past 2 years.
Then he's not gonna care about firing Rivera mid-season does absolutely nothing.
Whoa. He cares about winning, I would think.
Yeah,
But
but
I
like
don't think because it
how
helps his
like
bottom
firing
line. But
Rivera isn't gonna do anything in my opinion. It's not gonna do much mid-season. Like who do you have behind him that can really take over? Like, do I trust Jacques Del Rio? Not really. Scott Turner? Not really. Like, am I
that's why
gonna
you got to
trust
start anew.
Chris Harris? Like who's not even been a defensive coordinator yet? No. Like I just don't trust any of these guys to do it. So I don't think firing Rivera mid-season without a true replacement is the answer. And maybe after the season. After the season, I think that's a different story that you can actually start doing it. I still don't think I think that if they don't make the playoffs, I personally would move on from Rivera and staff, but I don't think they will. I think Snyder's got so much on his plate right now that he's really worried about him not going to jail and him not losing the team versus like actually winning. So I think that's what he's worried about. He's fine with Rivera. It was a 5-year contract. I think he's going to be sticking around for next year, even if I think it's not the right move. Jacques Del Rio, I think he has a legitimate chance of not being here next year if the defense continues. He's a guy that didn't have ties to Rivera coming in, and he hasn't looked good really besides the first year here. So I think that's a guy that could be fired after the season's over. Scott Turner, I think also possibly should be. First game of the season, I thought he was pretty good. Second game of the season, first half not good, second half good. Last week, absolutely atrocious. So I don't know. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people gave up on him. We'll see. Again, I don't think he's going to get fired mid-season as well. I mean, who's going to be the offensive coordinator? I mean, John Matsko. I don't know. I mean, who's going to be able to call plays for you? So I don't see what firing these guys mid-season besides maybe Del Rio, because I could see Chris Harris be a defensive coordinator, interim defensive coordinator, but I could see some of these guys get fired after the year.
Yeah, with me, I think everyone's literally on the hot seat, but I think Scott's and Jack's is much hotter. I really think if we don't make the playoffs, I think Ron's going to be gone because I was looking at this week. Jay Gruden currently has a higher winning percentage than Ron Rivera. That is crazy. Like I understand, we're trying to change this culture, but at the end of the day, if we're not winning, what matters? That's all that matters. It doesn't really matter. So. And it's year 3. We haven't seen anything different. Jay had 2 winning seasons, and Ron hasn't had a winning season. It's year 3. It's just. I don't understand this vision, this plan. We clearly have positions you need, and we don't never address it. He says that he loves the guys in the locker room, when clearly none of the guys are worthy enough to play on the field. So everyone's in the hot seat, including the guys that sell the tickets, because there's still away fans more than the home fans.
And I think also there's 2 Rons. There's Ron the GM and Ron the coach. Like I think Ron the coach isn't as bad as Ron the GM. Ron the GM, I just think that a lot of times, I think the drafts, I don't I'm not too upset with some of the picks. I feel like for the most part, he's not really doing much of the scouting. He's, letting his scouts do it. And from there, he's making the decision. But a lot of things that are just so obvious, I said it before free agency started, D-line depth, terrible. I said, and this is when I thought Chase Young was going to be ready for week 1. I still said we needed to bring in another edge rusher, Melvin Ingram or someone like that, in case someone goes down. And the edge depth has not been good. And a lot of those guys have been hurt. D-tackle depth, I said it as well after they moved on from Tim Settle, Matt Ioannidis, that they needed to get someone, not only draft someone, but sign someone. And I think they drafted Fidel Mathis too early. I think that, they didn't need a guy in the second. They could have gone for Brisker and then maybe gotten a D-tackle in the third or fourth, but it is what it is. What? Yeah, or Chad Moom or someone like that. Yeah. And then I don't know, they didn't get another D-tackle in the offseason like a veteran when there was guys available. Akeem Hicks, Star Lutulelli, who's still available, and Dominican Sue, a lot of guys that were available, and a lot of those guys are gone. Linebacker, same thing. They didn't address it at all this offseason. There's guys available. Even still guys available that played under Ron. Blake Martinez and AJ Klein. AJ Klein was available all offseason. I thought he was for sure going to get signed by the Commanders. Didn't get signed. The cornerback depth was obvious. They didn't really have a starting slot guy going into the year. And then I guess they chose Benjamin St-Juste. He's been solid, but the cornerback depth isn't great. William Jackson III has been awful. Kendall Fuller has not been good either. I have more trust in Kendall Fuller getting back to his old ways than William Jackson III, because I have not seen William Jackson III play good here for more than a game or two. I've seen Kendall Fuller in the last year play good, so we'll see how he does. And I thought in the Eagles game, it's a little off topic, but I thought in the Eagles game there was so many plays where he's like just like on the Devontae Smith like Moss, and another play it's like he got his hand in there like half a second too late, and on one of those plays, Bob McCain should have been there to make the play, but that's not the point. Like, that's besides the point. A lot of obvious moves that I thought should have been made, that if we would have made them, we would have been in a better position than we are now on the depth on the defense. So I think Ron, the GM, is struggling a little bit, and I think that he has a little bit too much power, and it would be nice if we had an actual GM, because also he brought in the GM, so he's kind of the boss of the GM, so he's got all the power, and I don't know if that's the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest indictments of this Rivera regime is how they've handled linebacker. I mean, we've all, this fan base gave this coaching staff, this front office the benefit of the doubt when seeking out a linebacker, because you had two former linebackers and Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio commanding the defense, and they didn't add anybody, man. They didn't add anybody. I mean, David Mayo he oftentimes gets starting reps still with this team, right? Jamin Davis has improved from the last couple of weeks, but I would say he has improved because they're allowing him to, pass rush a little bit more. I think he has. I saw a stat that he was like tied for 7th in the league in sacks right now and stuff. So they're at least using him well in that aspect. But in terms of coverage, I don't believe in any of these linebackers. Cole Holcomb, the so-called captain of this team, who has played terrible so far. Jamin Davis, we don't even need to get to him about his coverage abilities, even with all the speed that he and Cole Holcomb actually have. And then you have David Mayo, right? You brought in freaking Bostic, the guy that we were roasting. Pedro remembers that we were roasting at the start of the pandemic, bro. Like, it's just inexcusable how we've handled the linebacker position. Shout out to Ed Oliver, our guy Ed, for joining the stream. Appreciate you, bro. Another great content creator in our community. Go make sure to sum him up if you haven't already done so. But yeah, Ed, perfect, because we're about to talk about where Pedro and Abdullah are right now, and that's Virginia Tech. I mean, I'm repping my Georgetown Hoyas sweatshirt, so got some love for our teams, especially this team in the DMV. But I mean, I love Hokie football. What's going on, bro? What's going on? 2-2 to start the season. I mean, Hokie football hasn't been the same since Beamer Ball left. I mean, well, we'll start with Abdullah on this one. I see your videos on our channel. I mean, what's going on, bro?
So I'm gonna sum it up in like as quickly as possible. Virginia Tech football peaked with Michael Vick. Nothing much else said. The last time we had a good quarterback was
20 years ago.
Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas was pretty decent. Herndon Hooker is a Heisman candidate for Tennessee, and 3 years ago he was on Virginia Tech, the quarterback. I mean, I love Brent Pry. He's, I guess, trying to change the culture, but again, it's gonna take some time. It's his first year, but we're just the Andrew Sandman, the hype and everything. We just always disappoint year after year. And I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's just recruiting, but we just have to give him some time, and it sucks.
Time is precious.
Yeah.
I don't watch the games that closely, but I'll just say that Grant Wells is not that good. He's not a great quarterback. We need to get a better quarterback. Not an accurate passer. He's a solid runner, but he relies on that too much. And then I would say a guy that's been impressive is Caleb Smith. Number 80, he's been pretty good. But besides that, and I don't have much to say, just that it's been disappointing, and hopefully they can get the dub today against UNC.
So
yeah, about to say big game, right?
It's gonna be. I don't think UNC is gonna blow us out, dude. They have Drake May at quarterback. Like, I'm pretty sure he's really good.
Oh yeah.
And don't they have a good receiver? Something Downs, something like that.
Oh yeah, Josh Downs is really good too. So. Yeah, it might be. And plus, they probably want revenge for last year, so we'll see. Well, there is a hurricane though, so we might. I don't know. We'll see.
True. I heard it's raining a bunch out there. But Yeah, man, we need one of our football teams in the area to be good. I know UMD as Ed's team. UMD football, they gave Michigan a run for their money for a good bit of that game. And I think things are looking bright for them, especially with Talia. We talked about Tua. Tua's brother, manning the starting quarterback position out there. But yeah, man, we need one of our football teams to be good. This is pathetic. This is pathetic, man. VT football, bro. Like I remember going up there, they were always at least ranked, but lots of times they'd be top 15. I mean, Enter Sandman was not only something that would hype people up at the beginning of the game, but also would hype the entire team up and get them to eke out W's. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But that being said, let's get to the Commanders vs. Cowboys talk. 30 minutes into the stream, timed it perfectly. Didn't really, but let's get into the game. So first off, guys, I don't know about you. I think Bleeding Burgundy made a post about this on Twitter, but is Dallas Week dead? Like, is it dead at this point? I don't sense the buzz anymore. I really don't. Even within myself, right? Like, Abdullah, what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's completely dead. There's no like hype. We don't want Dallas because they literally own us. Dak has owned us for as many, even though he's not even playing. Cooper Rush, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off on us. The rivalry isn't there anymore. In the 90s, yeah, of course there was. But now it's just, yeah, we're playing the Cowboys. And obviously if we beat them, we'll get hyped. But we don't hype us up because this rivalry is dead.
I'm not gonna lie, 2000s a little bit too, right? Say Tanner Moss.
Yeah, we're Tanner Moss, Sean Taylor, yeah.
I mean RG3 as well. I mean,
yeah.
So maybe, yeah. But go. I mean, there's been some moments. There's been some.
Yeah,
moments,
I mean, I feel like it's more died down the last few years.
Yeah.
Because last year both of the games weren't really competitive, even though we kind of came back in that game where Cole Holcomb got the interception and we had a chance at the end to win if DeAndre Carter would have caught it. I think we were driving for maybe to tie it up. Those games weren't competitive. The year before, we absolutely demolished them both times, and that wasn't competitive. And then the year before that was when we went 3-13, and we were terrible. So it really hasn't been like a rivalry since 2018, I think. Since that was the year where we had the Preston Smith. Was that the year? Yeah, that was the year.
Yeah, Smith in
2018. Yeah,
where they had the field goal. Snap infraction and everything. That I feel like that's the last time where the rivalry was still really strong, or at least strong.
Fan base, showed it too.
But now, I mean, like I feel like there's a little extra juice to the game, but like not as much, of course, as there used to be. It's still Dallas. It's still a divisional game. It has more meaning than other games. But yeah, I agree. Not the same that it was in a few years ago even. And obviously 20 years ago is way bigger than it was 4 years ago. But yeah, hopefully we can make it a competitive game and hopefully get the win.
Yeah, I mean, a couple points here. Hawk TV brings up a very good point that I was thinking of this week, and I don't know, it might be unpopular, controversial take, but there was definitely the Natives versus Cowboys theme throughout this rivalry since its inception, like decades ago. That's no longer there, right? And I think that was a big reason why we were oftentimes playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving too, because of that connection, or that I guess dichotomy between the Natives and the Cowboys, the Redskins and the Cowboys. But I think the biggest point is definitely just our lack of winning. Our lack of winning, man, especially against that team. They've owned us. And maybe some rah-rah fans who see no wrong with this team might say, Nazi, how could you say something like that? Like, no, we should never give the Cowboys props. But they own us. They own us just like the Eagles own us, right? At least over the last couple of years. And yeah, with Dak, especially, we'll see with Cooper Rush. We'll talk about him right after this. But yeah, it's not great. And a lot of people talk about, deservedly so, Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995. We love to bash them. I love seeing Stephen A's takes about the Cowboys. I love it with all my energy. I love it so much. At the end of the day, though, they've at least gone to the playoffs multiple times. They at least have won double-digit games multiple seasons. What have we done? What have we done? In the last decade, we won 10 games once. And that was in 2012 with RG3. with no playoff wins. Cowboys have had playoff wins. So at the end of the day, I mean, we got to hold up our bargain in this rivalry. We do. Because no matter who the Cowboys shot out there, they always end up beating us. And that's just not right.
Remember Matt Castle 2015 with Kirk Cousins? Bro.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins. Oh, Kirk. Man. Kirk. Oh, Abdullah, your take is just getting worse and worse. About Kirk Cousins and how we miss him and how we want him back. But yeah, not with that showing on against the Eagles. But all right. So speaking of Cooper Rush, longest Giants owned us as well. Yeah, I mean
Daniel Jones has owned us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not scared of the Giants at all, and we'll talk about them a little bit more when we talk about the NFC East. But yeah, Daniel Jones. But Cooper Rush. Should we be nervous about Cooper Rush? Will we make Cooper Rush look like the next coming of Joe Montana, like we've done with Jared Goff, with so many quarterbacks in the past? Can we actually, do some great work against him, at least in terms of our defense? Pedro, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not really scared of Cooper Rush that much. I think he's been solid, but he hasn't really been the reason that the Cowboys have been winning games. He's been good. He's gotten the job done, and I think that's what he'll do this week. But I'm more scared of Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence against this O-line, against Carson Wentz, who holds on to the ball a little bit too much. I think that's what I'm scared of versus Cooper Rush. Again, he's solid. He's capable NFL quarterback, a backup, but I really don't think he's amazing, and he's not going to be the reason they win the game. He could be the reason they lose the game if our defense actually steps up and we've only had one turnover over the first few games. That's pathetic. And the one turnover was like a third, like the Jags needed like 10, 15 plus yards on that play. He just heaved it up. So like it counts, but not really. So like really the true turnover was like when Derek forced that fumble, and it was unfortunate that it went out of bounds. But that was kind of a turnover, but whatever. That's what they need to get a turnover this game, and I'm scared of Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I really think if we can make Dallas one-dimensional and stop Pollard and Zeke, which can be difficult. I mean, obviously CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb. They're also getting Gallup back, and I don't know if Schultz was playing this week. But I think if the defense can hold up the end of the bargain, I mean, Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. I can already see him strip sacking Carson Wentz already. But him and DeMarcus Lawrence, and can't forget Trevon Diggs. And if we get blown out, all the guys are going to say Trevon Diggs locked up Terry McLaurin. And if Carson's not even looking at Terry's way, I'm going to lose it. But I'm just more scared about Dallas's defense.
Yeah. Some more targets maybe in the first half of games for Terry would be nice. That would be nice.
Since you just paid him.
Yeah, especially if you just paid him. Although the extension hasn't kicked in yet. We'll kick in next season. But, yeah, I mean, that's inexcusable. Hawk TV here, unrelated point. But Trent Williams with our current receivers. Oh, my bad. Trent Williams with our current receivers would be great. Kirk would be perfect if you want to finish your season off 8-9 or 9-8. But Pollard might have it. Yeah, I mean, but then again, last week our rush defense.
He did a good job against Sanders. Yeah,
Sanders and Jalen Hurts, who can run the ball. So, I mean, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if they hold up this week. But yeah, on the Cooper Rush point, I'm not scared of him. But then again, this team makes average quarterbacks look like they're freaking world beaters. We saw that with Jared Goff. And maybe Jared Goff is slightly above average. He's definitely better than Cooper Rush. But, I mean, the same thing applies here. So, hopefully we can do some good things with Cooper Rush. And Abdullah mentioned Michael Gallup. He is coming back. He is making his long-awaited return against us. And, I believe last season he did some good things against us. So
I can see him mossing Kendall Fuller already.
Oh, Pedro, don't put that into the atmosphere. We don't need that. But, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Wait, one question I have. What do you guys think about Benjamin St-Juste? Like, do you think – because what I think will happen is I think they'll just go back to what they were doing earlier. But I think Benjamin St-Juste, I think you should put him on the outside and do one of two things. Bench William Jackson III or have William Jackson III on the outside and Kendall Fuller in the slot. I think William Jackson just sucks. I think he's terrible, overpaid, always just getting penalties or getting burnt, not giving effort. Like, it seems like I think on the St. Brown play where it was like one of the first plays of the game with the Lions where they got a 60-yard reception or 50-something yard reception. It was a miscommunication between him and Benjamin St-Juste, and he is jogging after St. Brown, and like he could have gotten him. And you see the difference between his speed and Derek Forrest. It looks like Jackson's running maybe a 5.4, and and Derek Forrest is running like a 4.3, getting after St. Brown, and he made the tackle. It's just like the combination of like the lack of like just him not playing well, and then the lack of effort really rubs me the wrong way with William Jackson III. I don't really like his attitude either. Just I really don't like anything about him so far in his tenure here. So at least they probably can get out of the deal after this year. But what do you guys think in the present moment, like what they'll do with the cornerback trio?
No, you're right, dude. There's no reason for miscommunication. It's literally your second year. We saw a lot last year. I agree with you, man. Put Ben St-Juste in. At least we saw some flashes of Ben St-Juste. Put him on the outside, put Fuller in the slot. It just doesn't make any sense when you pay this guy that much and you still play him. If he's playing bad, just bench him. Put your ego aside. Yeah, we made a mistake paying this guy, and put the guys actually gonna put effort out there.
At least send him a message.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, this organization loves its overpaid cornerbacks, man. And I'm not gonna lie, I like to talk about when I was right. Also, we'll talk about when I'm wrong. And William Jackson III, I had high hopes for him. High hopes for him for this team. And go
Talk
ahead,
TV says about Josh Norman. At least Josh Norman was I think not necessarily elite in his first year, but he was really good. And in the next 2 years, he was still like every year he progressively got worse, but he was still like good for like a 2 to 3 year period. He was never elite while he was here, but like way better than what William Jackson III has been, because William Jackson III has been like one of the worst corners in the league while he's been here. And Josh Norman, like the first year he was here, he was locking up a lot of people. He just wasn't coming down with the interceptions, which a lot of them came his way. He just dropped them. In the Bengals game, he dropped like 3 or 4. And then the next couple of years, he was still solid. But yeah, we definitely have overpaid corners the last few years.
I don't think we could draft Darryl Green. I mean, he's arguably the best. I think he's the best player to ever don a Washington uniform, Redskins uniform. So I don't know about Darryl Green. So I get your point. Yeah, I definitely would go for drafting cornerbacks over signing free agent cornerbacks, especially when our last two big free agent signings at cornerback, Kendall Fuller and William Jackson, are not playing as well as Benjamin St-Juste to be drafted in the third round. But to answer Pedro's question, I agree with Pedro. I want Benjamin St-Juste playing on the outside. He's been at his best playing on the outside the last 2 seasons. Even last year, before all the concussions happened to him, he was actually very solid on the outside. A lot of people forget that. And this season, I mean, I felt like it was night and day. He actually was pretty good last week, although he did give up that catch. But it wasn't a catch, right? Ron Rivera threw the challenge flag, but it was too late. So I don't think that should count on Benjamin St-Juste, even if it technically does. But no, he was good on the outside, and William Jackson III has been poo-poo, to say the least. And Kendall Fuller, I think he plays better on the outside as well. Although he's not really starting off great thus far, he has shown some good things on the outside. And honestly, like, especially compared to the slot, I don't know what it's been, but 2016, we all remember that season. I think it was his season before he got traded. It was 2016 or 2017 when he was one of the best slot corners in the league for us. And it was a lockdown corner, really. And ever since then, though, even with the Kansas City Chiefs, he hasn't been really good in the slot. He's been better served on the outside, even with Jay Gruden's criticism on, I believe, a radio show saying about, how he doesn't necessarily have the speed to really compete with the outside cornerbacks. To me, just the eye test alone, he's looked better on the outside. And Donald Jenkins here, I'm a fan of all your guys' channels, but it's going to feel sweet to beat the hell out of you guys tomorrow. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Pedro. Brandon, who was in here earlier, I think he posted something on his Instagram story about the Cowboys, and I was like, no, I think it was just a back and forth, traditional back and forth Dallas week, right? And I was like, yeah, I have nothing for you. I can't even clap back anymore. I mean, you guys have owned us. It's gotten to the point where I can't really say anything back. I mean, good luck to your team. I'm sorry I have to I have to stick with this team, but it's hard to do so. And I just went into the whole thing and stuff, but it just goes back to Dallas week and whether that's even still a thing. But appreciate you, Donald Jenkins, for coming in here and the support, even if you are a Cow Turds fan. But
going back to the corner, sorry. I don't want to see that kid Wild Goose out there. The one I know, but I just feel so bad because like it just looked like the Eagles knew what they were doing when they were just attacking him like off rip. And what do you think Cooper Rush is going to do when he sees a Wild Goose on CeeDee Lamb? Or even McLeod? I don't know.
I'm still not high on CeeDee Lamb. I don't care if he had that one catch that was nice. Like, I'm not high on him. The thing is, though, like I say this. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, touchdown. Yep. But the thing is, though, I cannot be high on so many players in the Cowboys, which I'm not. Right? I literally am not scared of anybody in the Cowboys but Micah Parsons. But when they play against us, bro, we look like a peewee team. Like sometimes, like it's frustrating because I can say all these things and then it can come back to bite me because people are like, "Oh, Nazi, you said you weren't afraid of this player or this player," and then they just ultimately, do numbers against us. But I mean, yeah, Michael Parsons, guys, man, I'm not gonna lie, I did not want to draft him because of his off the field stuff in college. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Terrible. But man, and the Cowboys, they love getting these bad guys on their team, and they love them doing some great things.
Would we have even used him right though? That's the thing. Like, I don't think we would have probably had him like lined up as a starting middle linebacker or whatever. Like, he's not that. He's an edge rusher that can occasionally line up at linebacker and do some like at linebacker. Like, he's not even amazing. Like, he's okay. But he does his damage as an edge rusher. I don't think we would have used him that way. I think the Cowboys and Dan Quinn have done an amazing job of finding, and a little bit lucky too. Like last year, they had a bunch of injuries at edge rusher, and they put him there, and he just was amazing. So I think they found the way, the right way to use him, and I don't think we would have done that.
And also, going back to drafting guys, this is one thing. I know we harp on this with Ron Rivera, but I'd rather have someone who obviously has some controversial stuff, but they're a dog on the field than some guy who has a great military background but is not producing on the field. I know it's controversial, but at the end of the day, if you're producing on the field and obviously nothing's coming up when you're in the pros, then what does it matter?
Yeah, and also context is everything. This organization, this fan base is desperate. Right?
Exactly.
Like it's desperate for good players. Although at the end of the day, though, this team was also and has continued to be mired in controversy off the field and just a lot of, legitimate concerns off the field for this organization, especially when it relates to, misconduct and everything. So I kind of understand. And again, I'm not going to lie. I did not want to draft Michael Parsons because of the off the field stuff. I literally was saying that every single week people brought up his name. And even with him being a linebacker and stuff, I wasn't for Jamin Davis. I'll say that, but I wasn't for Micah either. But I do agree with your point, Abdullah. Like at this point, we might have to take the great players over the military stand-up guys, which is kind of sad to say. But I mean, this organization is desperate. It really is, and I'm petrified for Micah Parsons on Sunday. Absolutely petrified. We gave up 9 sacks last week. 9 sacks against the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys,
Brandon Sheriff.
I would ask. There you go. I would ask Pedro especially this question. I thought our offensive line didn't need Brandon Sheriff. I thought our offensive line didn't need a Trent. I thought our offensive line didn't need all these guys. We would be great without them. We were the 3rd ranked offensive line by PFF, top 5, top 10. Oh my gosh, we're still gonna be great. We don't need them. We got Trey Turner. We got Wes Schweitzer. We got freaking Chase
Andrew Norwell.
Starting center position. Andrew Norwell, former Panther, Commander. He's gonna turn out great for us. Pedro.
Okay. I was wrong about the offensive line. I never thought it was the top 3, top 5 offensive line, like PFF said. I thought it was an average to above average offensive line last year, and I thought it would be, honestly, I said it would be a little bit better this year. And that has not been the case, but I really don't think Brandon Sheriff would have made that much of a difference this year.
With the way he's playing? Whoa. With the way he's playing right now in Jacksonville.
You think our offensive line would be a top 10 offensive line right now with Brandon Sheriff?
I'm not saying top 10.
It would, okay.
Those sacks that we gave up, maybe it would have been four last week instead of
4.
9.
You think he would have allowed 5 less sacks? One guy out? No, I don't think so. Maybe, but I think Brandon Sheriff would have made an impact for sure. But I think, like, first off, losing Chase Roulier really, really sucks. Back-to-back years is really
That's what I meant. Chase Roulier and Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah,
I think we could have
Chase Roulier being out really sucks. Again, that's your best offensive lineman, and he's out. And then last week, Sam Cosmi was not good, and then he got hurt and was still playing through it, which made it even worse. Leno's been a little bit disappointing. Norwell's been and Trey Turner's been awful. So I think the offensive line will be a little bit better when they put Larson at starting center and they have Wes Schweitzer at right guard, because Schweitzer is better than so far this year. When Schweitzer played guard, he was not bad. So I think that'll help a little bit, but it's not as good as it was last year. And Eric Flowers is still available if they want to sign him. So I think, Brandon Sheriff, obviously there's no doubt about it. Our offensive line would be better right now than it would be better with him than without it. But I'm still fine with letting him go, honestly. Like, it is what it is at this point. I was just done with the whole situation. We offered him pretty much more money than Jacksonville did, or the same amount of money, and he declined it. So that's on him. And
Yeah, Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner haven't proven anything. I don't know why they're on this team, besides from the fact that they were on the Panthers. But I miss Eric Flowers so much. And
Abdul is disgusted right now. This whole
No,
has been disgusted.
No, it's just like the simple things we just can't do. It just doesn't make any sense. And then Ron Rivera's gonna say he likes those guys. What have they done for you to like them? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Then you see your quarterback.
But Abdullah, Panthers fans, like,
I know they warned us about it.
They warned us before we hired Ron. They were like, he's loyal to a fault. He's gonna be, and that's gonna hurt your team. That's gonna hurt your team.
I understand that, but you gotta put your ego aside, dude, and say if they're not doing good, put someone else in there that's actually gonna do their job. 9 sacks, that's inexcusable. And then you have the second coming of Lawrence Taylor tomorrow. What the hell do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna have at least 3 or 4 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 sacks last week. Bro, it might be rough, dude.
Yeah, it might be. Michael Parsons.
It will.
Michael Parsons. Oh, Pedro made a prediction there. Yeah. Man. All right. Well, moving on from the offensive line and whether we'll be able to protect our guys tomorrow. How about our running game? We talked about Antonio Gibson earlier. I think we'll be able to run the ball at least, maybe chew up some clock with Antonio Gibson against the Cowboys defense.
I think it'll be okay. I mean, I think our running game's been all year. So I think it'll be continue to do that. Their run defense is okay. I mean, Saquon was able to do some things against them. I think he had 14 rushes for like 86 yards and a touchdown. So he was solid. Gibson isn't Saquon. So he's not going to do the same thing probably, but Gibson's had some good games against the Cowboys. He's had some bad games as well. I think Gibson will be solid. And but yeah, I want Robinson. To take those carries. When I think when Robinson comes back, maybe the first couple weeks, he won't be getting as many carries as he will later on in the year. But yeah, I'm excited to get BRob back.
Yeah, basically what Pedro said. And if the run game is working, stick with it. Really, nothing much else said. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. I still am not high on Antonio Gibson as a between the tackles runner. Really have never been high on him in that aspect. But we do use him more as a pass catcher, which I liked what we did week 1. I think that's what we used him for. He had a bunch of catches out of the backfield, and I felt like we used him the way we should have been using him his entire short career here in DC. We use him like that. maybe we could do some good things. But that Dallas defense is tough. And that extends beyond Micah Parsons. You got a Tank Lawrence. You got some good guys. Trevon Diggs, yes, he gets burnt. But, I mean, it always seems like he's there. I don't know. He shows up. He shows up like when the moment's bright. So, yeah. But, okay, so speaking of Trevon Diggs, will our receivers actually be able to get separation on the Cowboys defensive backs in this game, right? Because we did do that last season. Even the great Terry McLaurin, I mean, I know it was almost became a meme, right? Trevon Diggs, oh my gosh, he locked up Terry. But, like, Terry didn't get much separation, although Heineke threw him some terrible balls as well. What are you guys' thoughts on the Washington receivers versus Dallas quarterbacks matchup? We'll start with Abdullah.
So I think this year, since we drafted Jahan and Curtis is healthy, I think we'll do a better job. The receivers do a better job against separation. I want to see De'Ami Brown involved. I completely forgot this man was on the team. Get some balls to Cam Sims. We saw what De'Ami Brown did last year, that deep ball and Trevon Diggs and the other quarterback.
That one ball?
I know. But the thing is, like, we had De'Ami Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown said it for a reason. We drafted him before Amon-Ra St. Brown. So let's use him. Why not? We drafted him,
Well, you want a hot take, though? I don't think it's a hot take, but it's going to rub this fan base the wrong way. Amon-Ra St. Brown was absolutely correct in what he said during that.
Yeah, but, like, did he need to say it, though?
Yeah, that wasn't necessary.
Does it matter? I mean,
it's kind of a douche move, though. Like,
I mean, it is.
Darius Slay was right. Your own team passed up on you 3 times too. So,
but this goes back to what Abdullah said earlier. I'd rather have at least what seems like a douche who is one of the best up and coming receivers in the league, and Amon-Ra St. Brown over De'Ami Brown, who seems like a good guy by all accounts.
Yeah, and then in terms of like De'Ami Brown, like I don't want De'Ami Brown taking snaps away from Terry, Jahan, and Curtis. So like it is at this point, like I don't think De'Ami Brown is going to amount to much in this receiving core. We'll see. If we're getting blown out, like give him some snaps a little bit earlier. I want to see what he can do, but he hasn't been doing it. Like Abdullah said, nothing this year at all. Barely getting any snaps. He got a couple snaps last week because it was the end of the game and they were getting blown out. But he hasn't shown much. But it also says some things about our receiving core that is just better. And then in terms of how we do this week, I think what we need to do to get these guys involved, like you don't need to go to the deep ball every single time. Like Terry, Jahan, and Curtis can all do a lot of things in the short to intermediate passing game. Give them some short screens, slants, anything you want to get the ball in their hands, and let them do things with that afterwards. Curtis is great at that. Jahan can do that. Terry can do that. And I felt like they did a great job of doing that in the first game of the season, especially with Curtis. But last game, they didn't do it at all. Like, you're going on these 5-7 step dropbacks when your O-line can't block and Carson Wentz holds on to the ball too much. And it's going to be the same problem against the Cowboys D-line. So just do these short passes and let your playmakers just ball out. So I hope that's what they do this week with Terry, Jahan, and Curtis, because all those guys are really good after the catch.
Yeah, we have a problem. So with the De'Ami Brown point from Abdullah, we have a problem as is getting our starting 3 receivers involved, let alone De'Ami Brown. We talked about Terry not getting any targets until the second half of games. I mean, Jahan Dotson, 2 catches for 10 yards last week. Curtis Samuel, I feel like he's been the guy that's been most involved among the receiver trio, the starting 3 guys at least. But yeah, I think we can do some good things against the Dallas defensive backs. But the more as each passing week goes, like it seems like more and more that we can do some great things against some pretty bad defenses in the Jaguars and the Lions. But once we play against some elite defenses like the Eagles, arguably, one of the best defenses of the league, and the Cowboys defense, who are very good as well, we fall flat. So hopefully that's not the case tomorrow. And we actually show some things. Our receivers get open and we actually throw him the ball. Carson Wentz throws him the ball. But I mean, speaking of Carson Wentz, guys, like absolutely abysmal last week and wasn't great even the previous week, although he did get his stats eventually at the end of the game up to where they should be. Week 1, pretty good. But is this a Carson Wentz bounce back game, Pedro?
I don't know. I don't think I have a good read on this game, but it's gonna be tough. I could see Wentz having a really bad game, honestly, especially with Parsons there, and then Trayvon Diggs, who's not great, but like he can get you, get some interceptions off you, and I feel like Wentz could throw up a couple 50-50 balls to Terry or Jahan, or even Curtis, and it get picked off. So I don't know, honestly, zero clue if it's a. I don't think it'll be a huge bounce back game. Like I don't think Carson's going to go out there, throw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 350 plus yards. I could see like a 280 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions game, but nothing crazy.
I think it'll be like the Detroit game where first half really nothing and second half stat pad. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think it'll be serviceable in this game. Sort of like a. I hate to bring them up, especially in this day and age, man. We love to talk about Matt Ryan, but I think it's going to be a very like serviceable game, like sort of like what Carson Wentz showed last year with the Colts when they were winning games. I should say, very serviceable game, but I don't think it's going to be the B+ A- game that he had in Week 1, and I don't think it's fair to expect that from him because he played against the Jaguars in Week 1. We're playing against the Cowboys.
Jaguars are pretty good though.
Yeah, why are you hating on the Jags, bro?
No. I mean, okay. I'm talking about the defense. I'm talking about the Jaguars defense. They're not great, right? Can we agree on that?
I mean, they held that Chargers offense last week.
The Chargers. I feel like they always have these games. And this goes to really my opinion that Staley should be on the hot seat. They always have these games where they just fall out, like they just fall flat, right? And which is absolutely inexcusable with that roster. But I get it. But like, let's see if the Jaguars do this for multiple games, right?
And also might be the fact that it's a good thing we played them early instead of when they got their groove together. I don't know if that might be a factor in that.
Yeah. But okay, all right. So last but not least on this game, I gotta ask you guys for your score prediction. Will the Commanders come out on top? Or will the Cowboys come out on top? What is your score prediction? We will start with Abdullah on this.
All right. So I'm starting to become a realist.
There you go. You're coming over to the good side.
Yeah. Cowboys win 31-20.
Yeah.
I got the Cowboys winning 24-21. Also, the Eagles winning last week. I did not have it as a blowout, but I had them winning. And then I think me and Ed were talking about this earlier, but I could see them beating the Titans though, Week 5, and maybe even the Bears as well. We'll see.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. They have 3 winnable games right now. They have 3 winnable games with the Cowboys without Dak, and then they have the Titans, and then they have the Bears. We'll see if they're able to win those games, but they're definitely winnable games. Let's see if they take advantage of that.
Fair. And Ed brings up this point here. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Abdullah.
I was gonna say you brought up the next 3 games. If they lose these next 3 games and we're 1-5, do you think there's a chance that Ron will be fired midseason, or that's impossible?
I don't think, even though I wouldn't mind it, and I definitely wouldn't mind it if they don't make the playoffs this year, for them to fire on midseason. I just don't think Snyder will do it, and I don't think that, especially with all that he's has to worry about right now, I don't think he's going to do a midseason. But we'll see. The last couple of years they've done the exact same thing. Like, first year was like 1-7, maybe 2-7. Last year was a bad start as well. So they've had really bad starts the last few years under Rivera.
Yeah, man, 2-6 last season. Everybody loves talking about that 4-game winning streak, but we started off 2-6. Another slow start. But Ed here saying that he has the Commanders beating the Bears and Titans, but losing to Dallas. So he also has the Commanders beating Titans, like Pedro said. Bears. I've never been high on Justin Fields. Like, I'm sorry, I've never, like, even in college, like, he had that great game in college football playoff, but he was that end of that season was not great. I did not like what I saw out of Justin Fields for the most part last season. He did show some good things, but like, I'm talking about high on him as if he's gonna be, the next great player at the quarterback position. I think he could be serviceable, right? But like not to the point where we should be scared of him. Although again, with this defense, you never know. But yeah, so in terms of my prediction, I have us losing. So it's Pedro, Abdullah, and then even Ed, and now me have us losing to the Cowboys as well, or the Cow Turds, or the Cowgirls, whatever you want to call them, 24-17. So I also, like Pedro, think the Cowboys are going to put up 24 points, but I think we're only going to be able to put up 17 points. And again, Carson Wentz is going to be serviceable. We're going to show some good things on both sides of the ball. But in the end, even with Cooper Rush starting at quarterback for the Cowboys, I think that defense in Dallas is going to be enough for them to take the W. I hate to say this. I want us to freaking blow out the Cow Turds like nobody's business. I want it to be 50-0, but trying to be a realist here, and that's my prediction. And it is what it is.
We going to talk some Wizards?
Yeah, sure.
Ed's in here.
I know. All right, I was going to say that for the very end, but we can talk about it right here with Ed being here. So let's do it. Dula, I mean, what is your Wizards outlook this season? I know they play their first preseason game out there in Japan against the Golden State Warriors. I don't care if they're defending champs. And yeah, so I mean, and they lost, but I believe, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a preseason game. Doesn't really matter. They just, we're out there. It's nice to see them out there. I heard Kuzma showed some good. I heard our players show some good things in general. What is your Wizards outlook for the 2022-2023 season?
The Wizards are the most mid team in the history of mid teams. With Beal, with everybody. I'm talking like Kuzma, KP. I don't even know if KP is going to be healthy. Beal, Johnny Davis. Hopefully he shows some improvement from the summer league. At most, 7 seed. That's kind of pushing it.
Ed, stop! Don't put that into the atmosphere. We already have Pedro.
The Warriors, the double Warriors.
The Warriors, bro.
You're such a hater,
Go Pedro, bro. Go Pedro. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. They ruined basketball, bro. All the Steph Curry top 10 talk, bro. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Earlier. I had a speech, bro. I had a speech for Newport, which is like a debate version for like law school. And I had a speech, and we could pick any topic that we wanted. It was a persuasive speech, right, to get into moot court. I wrote about no cap. You know what? I'll share it.
So it was about Steph Curry. It was about.
I'll share it. And let's just say it was a winning. Let's just say, Pedro. Let's just say it was a winning speech.
I think you have a crush on Steph Curry.
No, I do not. I do not, bro. The exact opposite, bro.
Dude, this is
like overrated players of all time. This man's is never in the top. In my opinion, he's only been in the top 3 player conversation in the NBA in terms of single season for 2-3 years of his entire career, and people are talking about him being a top 10 player all time. Like he's not even. I get it. ESPN's list was terrible. I agree with a lot of people out there, but even then, Steph Curry was 5 on that list, right? And he just won a championship. That was supposed to be the pinnacle of his career, winning a championship and him getting actually finals MVP and actually being the reason why his Warriors team for the first time actually won a championship. But no, he's not a top 10 player all time. But let me bring up, sorry to cut you guys off with the Wizards takes, but I mean, we're talking about the layers. I got to share my speech. No, the Warriors. They don't deserve any love especially from this fan base. Don't deserve any love.
You gotta.
I'm not gonna move on, bro.
They own the Cavs. They did
I'm sitting back chilling. Mike, the Cavs got Donovan Mitchell. I'm sitting back chilling, man. I think the Cavs could be a finals contender.
Wait, let me ask you this: do you think the Cavs will have a better record than the Warriors this year?
Oh no! Come on.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think that. Maybe
right.
in 2 years from now, yeah. 2 years from now, yeah.
Man, as long as Steph's on that team, there will always be.
I don't care. Steph Curry is overrated, bro. We'll get to it, Ed. We'll get to the Wizards prediction. I'm trying to pull up my winning speech.
Wait, while you're pulling it up, I can give my. So I think it's tough for the Wizards because the East is so much better than it's been in the past. Like the Hawks the Hawks didn't make the playoffs last year, right? But they got DeJounte Murray, so I think they're going to be better. Like, I don't think the Wizards are going to be – I'm pulling up the East right now. Don't think they'll be better than the Heat, the Celtics, the Bucks, the 76ers, the Raptors, probably the Bulls, the Nets, the Hawks, the Cavaliers. Like, look at all those teams that, like, undoubtedly are better than the Wizards. Maybe you could say the Bulls. Maybe the Bulls.
Oh my
You could
god.
argue the Bulls, but I think the Wizards will be solid. Like I think they'll be in that conversation for the play-in. I think Porzingis and Beal are going to be a really good duo. I'm excited to see if Rui Hachimura in a full season can do some good things because I've always been high on him. And I thought last year, like he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, but like his 3-point percentage was really good. So I'm excited to see what they can do. And Kuzma also was really, really, really good in the first half of last year and was still solid in the second half. So I'm excited. They got some good pieces, but like I still don't think they're there. But I think they could, fight for a play-in spot just because of how good the East is. Like if this was like 3 years ago, I could see them as like the 6th seed or the 5th seed. But with how good the East is and how many, like I said, I listed out the teams. You look through it. The Heat, Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, Raptors. There's like really no debate. The Wizards aren't better than those teams. The Nets, unless they implode, the Hawks and the Cavs. Like that's 8 teams right there. So you could debate the Bulls, maybe the Hornets and the Knicks, but it's going to be tough for the Wizards for sure. Now we can get into the Naughty,
Naughty. This is an all-time low, bro. I'm not.
No,
even
it's
joking,
not
bro.
an all-time low that got me a dub in this application. An all-time low that gave me a dub. No. I think, and there was some pushback. I'm not gonna lie during this speech because at this time I was allowed to take questions from like the board, and I came back firing back because I have my stats. I'm not confident in a lot of my abilities, but in terms of arguing this, I'm very confident because I mentioned the All-NBA selections. He ranks 32nd all-time in first-team All-NBA selections. I mentioned what else? Curry's defense, while being above average in 2021, was very good. In the playoffs especially, he ramped it up. For most of his career, he's been a liability on defense. The Golden State Warriors have hit him. I mentioned also that he routinely does not show up in the biggest of games. Everybody loves to mention this past season, although he did have 16 points in Game 5 of the season, the playoffs, the finals. Andrew Wiggins saved his butt. That's what happened. Andrew Wiggins saved his butt. And I also mentioned, his lack of clutchness, 4 for 15 on shots to tie or win game, 24 seconds or less left. I mentioned as well how he's had multiple great players, future Hall of Famers at one time. I'm not talking about at different moments of his career. At one time.
Did you bring up his wife too?
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. In this speech, I wouldn't.
He probably wanted to.
I can't remember for what reason last year, but like you said something about it, Aisha. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. No. In general, okay. If we're talking about my disdain for Steph Curry versus my take of him being like not being top 10 all time yet, like my disdain for Steph Curry, part of it is definitely his wife. Definitely his wife. With that tweet from 6 years ago, definitely his wife. Definitely his wife. And also all this talk about, okay, I don't want to even get into it because it's like off the court and stuff, but you guys know what I'm talking about in terms of her take about not getting enough attention and all that. So a lot of reasons. And also Curry's people thinking, oh, this man's is a saint. He's a baby face. Oh my gosh, he's so adorable. Look at him. Meanwhile, he throws freaking mouthpieces at fans. He does all the things that people don't want to see, but continue to disregard because he's Steph Curry. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons for my disdain.
He's a competitor.
See, that's exactly my point. We're gonna turn what I just said about him throwing a mouth guard at fans. I believe it was during the playoffs around and say it's because he was competitive. It is what it is, and getting ejected in that game too. All right, but yeah, that's what I have to say about Steph Curry. He's still overrated, but yeah, in terms of my Wizards take, you guys don't want to hear my Wizards take. The Boston Wizards. I mean, Abdullah mentioned mid. Man, you guys thought I was pessimistic about the Commanders, bro. You guys haven't seen anything yet. I am absolutely pessimistic about the Wizards. You cannot have Bradley Beal being your alpha guy and expect to do great things in the regular season. Kristaps Porzingis, he's a good player when healthy. He's never healthy for the entire season. There's a reason why the Mavericks got rid of him. There's a reason why the Knicks got rid of him. Some of it was also he was not a good locker room guy. Maybe he's changed things there, but that doesn't change the fact that he's been injury prone for most of his career. People talk about how Monte Morris, it might be a good pickup for us. Sure, good pickup, but not as a starting point guard in this league, which he might be this season for the Washington Wizards. And then you combine that with the fact that the Eastern Conference definitely improved this offseason after already being very strong last year. The Atlanta Hawks got DeJounte Murray. Cleveland Cavaliers, of course, got Donovan Mitchell. And, Celtics are still going to be there even with all their situation with the head coach, with Udoka. I mean, you have the Nets who are probably going to be back, especially with Ben Simmons now actually playing games. You have the 76ers, who I still believe in. I'm a big believer in Joel Embiid, although he is also injury prone. What else? I mean, there are a bunch of teams. Miami is still there. The Bulls will be back fully healthy. I mean, what, Pedro?
No, I'm sorry, but this is just something for Steph Curry that I was thinking about. So I think Abdullah would agree with me on this. If Steph Curry wins one more championship and 2 All-NBA first teams, and let's say
that second part is big.
Let's say 2 All-Stars, I could see a debate for him better than LeBron all time, honestly.
Oh, well, all right. Wow. Okay, dude, I'm like the biggest LeBron stan. I don't think anyone will be better than him.
I'm joking. I just wanted to get that reaction from Nati. How many wins? I would say, let's see how many they got last year. Ed, if you could put that in the chat, I'm looking it up, but they got 35 last year. Left. I'll go 40. I'll go 30, 39 wins for the Wizards. I'll go 39, 40. I think they'll be in the plan. That was so worth it, Abdullah. That was so worth it.
Right, he's obviously trolling, Naughty. Come on, man.
Yeah, I was trolling.
Yeah.
This is what I mean, Abdullah. This is what I mean. In today's day and age, you can't be both a LeBron stan and a Steph stan, bro. There's always going to be. I'm not talking about Pedro. I'm not talking about Pedro specifically, right? Pedro, I feel like is objective. We'll see. Kind of objective here, but. For a lot of Steph Curry fans, bro, at the end of the day, if you even side with that man's, bro, there's going to come a point where they're going to be like, oh, he's better than LeBron at this. He does some things better than LeBron at this. There's always going to be a point where they push back against LeBron, bro. Like, it is what it is.
For Curry to surpass LeBron, I think I'd have to see,
multiple finals MVP.
First off, no more LeBron championships. Let's say LeBron's out of the league in 4 years and gets whatever. He doesn't play amazing. And then obviously there's no chance of any of this happening. And then maybe 3 more championships. Actually, I'll say 2 more rings and 2 more finals MVPs plus 3 first team All-NBAs. And then there's a debate. Like you could argue it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think LeBron's the second best player of all time behind Michael Jordan. And I don't think really Steph.
You heard that, Ed?
You
heard that, Ed?
What?
Talking about haters here. Ed is a LeBron hater, but go ahead, Pedro. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron I don't think Steph has much of a chance to reach LeBron. I don't know. I don't know if LeBron has that much of a chance for Jordan at this point. We'll see. But he could for sure. I think LeBron's a great player.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I was looking at the standings. Did you say Steph and Jordan?
No. I said I don't think LeBron has much of a chance to surpass Jordan.
Wait, Pedro. Do you think Steph surpassed Magic or no as the best point guard of all time?
I would probably still have. I don't know. I think it's close. But I'd probably still have Magic.
Another.
No, that's not
Magic over. I would probably have Magic over
Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. That's not a bad take, dude.
I don't think it's a bad take. I don't think it's a bad take at all.
Steph is generational. Go ahead, bro.
Dude, but Nati hates Curry.
I know, dude. I've never seen a man like
he's listening right now too, but Curry, Nati wakes up and is like, man, I hope Curry I don't know.
He's like Flight Reacts, but if Flight Reacts hated Steph Curry. Oh man, he's back.
Bro, and this is what makes adults out there
I
Older
said
adults.
it's
Bro,
Laugh
you're
at
like
this
two.
generation,
You're
bro,
like
for
2
takes
years
like
older
that.
than us. What do you
For
mean?
take
it's
no,
old?
you didn't hear what I said. That's what makes them laugh at us. I said
it's
us.
debatable. I said it's debatable, which it is debatable. Like I don't
Dude,
honestly.
Magic Johnson, come on, Naughty.
I don't know where I stand on this.
I literally mentioned him in my speech, bro. Let me pull it up.
But like
As evidence.
I honestly don't know where I stand on this. I would have to like really, really do a lot more research. But you gotta admit, like you are biased in this. Like you have
No.
hate
It's
for
it's her.
Curry.
No,
You
listen.
have so much hate for Curry that
Did he-
like you're automatically gonna like because a lot of respected NBA fans, analysts, and a lot of them, most
Magic Johnson has 9 first team selections.
Wait, real quick, a
Curry has 4.
A lot of
On top of
NBA analysts have Curry over Magic all
Who?
time, or have Curry in the top 10. Most people have Curry in the top 10.
Richard, you can't come out here and say a lot of these analysts have this player over this player without proof. Because maybe a few out there, maybe the guy who might be on something, maybe on drugs, I don't know. And Bobby Marks might have him there, might have Curry over Magic Johnson. I mean, he does have Curry as the number 2 player of all time, but nah, stop it.
Really?
Stop it, bro.
I would still probably say Magic's better, but I think you could argue Steph's better, but I'll put Magic over for now. And then I think right now Steph's probably I know you don't agree with this, and I think most people have Curry in the top 10. I have him at 10. I think Curry's in the top 10. I don't think you can like really be hating on someone for having him in the top 10, but it is what it is.
Magic Johnson has 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs as well. 3 MVP. Did you hear? Listen, 3 MVPs and 3 Finals MVPs. 9 All NBA first team selections. The Curry's 4.
Okay, but
come on, bro. I'm not saying Curry can't get to that point. I didn't even say that in my speech. I said,
do you think someone's crazy for having Curry in the top 10? Crazy.
I never said crazy. I know Curry's
but
like
that's
top
what
15.
I'm asking you.
I don't think it's crazy for someone to have him top 10. I think it's crazy right now. I'm saying right now. I'm not saying a couple years down the line. Right now to have Curry over.
Okay,
Magic.
I mean,
I think that's crazy.
I think I have Magic over him, but I think Curry's in the top 10. That's just me. Curry's
face it. You're not even in the minority on this. You're in the minority of the minority on this. I'm sorry. Yes, because most analysts out there. I'm not saying all. Most analysts out there still have Magic. Even all these rankings you see, ESPN, Bleacher Report, it doesn't matter.
So what does Steph have to do to
multiple Finals MVPs, another MVP. Because for you, I know for Abdullah is gonna be like, oh, he's gonna get to 5 championships. Good, bro.
Well,
you put anybody on the 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018 Warriors, and they win a championship, bro.
If I'm a general manager, literally, I swear, Magic Johnson is literally Ben Simmons.
Starting my team with Magic. You know why? Bro? Listen, you know why, bro? Because Ed will probably agree with me on this. Magic Johnson, while never being known as an elite defender, he could guard all 5 positions on the court. He was the ball handler on that Lakers team, right? The guy that was literally running the entire. He was like Luka before Luka, bro. That's essentially what Magic Johnson was, right? A bigger Luka. Bro, I'm going with a bigger Luka over Steph. I'm sorry.
Look at the competition. Look at the competition. Look at the competition. Look who changed the game, dude.
What do you mean look at the competition? The Celtics? One of the greatest dynasties of all time? What are you talking about? Larry Bird, another top 10 player all time?
The game has evolved, and the way Steph changed it, Magic could never do that.
I will add. Huh?
Wait, Abdullah, do you think LeBron's better than Jordan all time?
Oh, yeah. I think LeBron's the greatest player of all time.
See, that's why we shouldn't have Abdullah, I already knew this.
I would die by this. LeBron James
my anger towards Abdullah is showing right now because I already know about Abdullah's takes and stuff. You can't trust the guy.
You think Jordan's better than LeBron all the time, right?
Yes. And then this is coming from, and again, Ed, I think Ed knows this at this point, but like I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of grew up a Cavs fan, and I watch LeBron. I'm close to personal. I watch every single minute of those playoff series, not just finals, those playoff series. No, stop. And LeBron's still second all time to me. Jordan is on another level. I'm not saying LeBron can't reach Jordan if he wins maybe a chip or 2, which I don't know with this Lakers team, trash Lakers team. We'll see about that. But I still believe in LeBron. I still
West-
think he's gonna will this team.
Russell Westbrook. Oh my God. I said it once the Wizards traded him to the Lakers, I was like, that is an awful, awful, awful fit because Westbrook is just he needs the ball in his hands, and then he just is way, way, way too fast paced for the Lakers. And it's like you watch him and like his stats will show he had a good game, but if you actually watched it, he was not good at all. Like, I mean, sometimes obviously
But he was good,
off.
bro. He was good second half of the season.
Second half of the season, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Playoffs though, he wasn't that good, and I don't know. It is what it is with Westbrook.
But do you agree with me on this? I hope Ed agrees with me. I think I'm not gonna lie, Russell. I was gonna say Wilson. Russell Westbrook willed us to the playoffs that second half of the season for the Wizards. Like if he wasn't there,
I would say yes.
Bradley Beal's not it,
but
bro.
he also was the reason they weren't gonna make the playoffs with his performance in the first half of the year. So I think it kind of evened out because the first half, I just remember how I was DMing Ed all the time, talking about how bad this guy was. And he was terrible in the first half. And like a lot of the times they weren't winning because of that. And in the second half, the roles kind of reversed. He was the reason why they're winning games. But yeah, Jordan's the GOAT. I think, wait, let me just say this real quick. Jimmy High Roller, do you guys watch him?
Yeah.
He posted a video where it was like polling all NBA players and fans. And it was something like 70% of current NBA players, people who play against LeBron, think that Jordan's the GOAT. And also that I think it was some high percentage of people that played with LeBron, teammates of LeBron, that said Jordan was better. And people that played with both thought Jordan was better. I think they're like, if you put that argument out, I think that honestly is one of the best arguments out there that people, first off, kids of this generation that never watched Jordan and grew up with LeBron are still saying Jordan is better. Yeah. Russ was balling in the second half.
I was pointing down at Abdullah for kids of this generation.
So now you're only 2 years older than me. So
first of all, 2. It's not 2. Is it a 3?
I'm 19. You're like 22.
I'm 22. Yeah, exactly. So that's 3,
whatever,
my guy.
Whatever. Anyway, so if once LeBron passes Kareem and he's the all-time scorer, that doesn't change anything. Even though he's taking less shots than MJ.
That just adds to his resume of being second all time. Yes.
Yeah. For me, it doesn't add anything. If like it's just it's another thing to his resume. My thing is, who was better at their peak, LeBron or Jordan? Jordan, I want in those 10 years, I want Jordan over LeBron any day of the week. And
although
what
this is, I think actually Jimmy High Roller made this point in a previous
video. Let's give the Wizards prediction. So I got the Wizards as the 9th or 10th seed, winning 39 games. That's what I got them at. And I just, like I said earlier, too many good teams in the East. I think Beal will make the All-Star game. I think I'm really excited for Rui. Rui is one of my favorite players on the team. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I hope he gets a starting job, and I hope some of those guys that they've drafted in the last 3 years can step up and actually show that they're good pieces. And I think in the next couple of years, the Wizards have to start drafting for high ceiling and even like low floor, high ceiling, because like Corey Kispert's going to be a solid player, but like we don't need more Corey Kispers. We need more. We need more like guys that are boom or bust, because we don't have any stars on this team.
Or Johnny Davis.
Well, that's the problem, Pedro. They don't want to tank. They want to contend, even though they're not good enough, and they'll get the 7th, 8th, or 9th pick. That's the problem with this franchise. And now they just paid Bradley Beal a boatload of money. So obviously they're going to try to...
No trade clause. Only one of 10 players all time. Pathetic franchise, man. Abdullah, what is your win-loss record for the
I think, so seed-wise, I think ceiling is 7, and then probably floor is like 10. I think wins, like, last year they won, 35, 36?
30, just saw it.
35.
Yeah,
35. I think they'll win a couple more. I'll say 38 to 39.
I think they'll win like 39 just because like Beal was out for a lot of last year, and they got Porzingis for the who's I think's gonna help out, and then Kuzma is gonna be like he was last year.
Will Barton is pretty good too.
And then you made some small upgrades, but I think having Beal for hopefully the whole season, I think that'll get them to 39, 40 wins, maybe the 9th seed. It's just the East is so much better than it was before. It's way deeper. I think it's probably deeper than the West is, but I honestly could debate. I love debating LeBron versus Jordan all day, every day. It's just I wish I was alive during that period to like experience peak Jordan. Like it seems like there's nothing like it. Just seems like it's just like the Beatles, like stuff like that. Like watching the Last Dance is just like you got that feeling of like he's the man. Like when in 20 years when we watch LeBron's documentary, like it's gonna be crazy, but like it's not gonna feel like, man, LeBron is not the man globally. You know what I mean? Like Jordan was. He pretty much was 20 years ago. LeBron is huge here, but like he's also got a lot of haters. Like he's got a lot.
Yeah, you want to know why he has a lot of haters? He's the greatest of all time.
He's
No,
got
stop.
I don't think
That's why you have haters.
I wasn't around back then, but I don't think Jordan had as many haters as LeBron does right now.
Pedro.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off. Real quick though, just because I don't want to keep Ed too much longer on this.
Wow.
Yeah, so no. I'm saying Ed because he's been asking for the Wizards prediction, my Wizards prediction. So yeah, I thought I was gonna be the most pessimistic, but I guess not. I have us winning maybe 40, 41 games this season, 9th seed in the plan, but do not make the playoffs. The East once again is very stacked. The Wizards roster, man, bro. I said this before.
40 wins.
Okay. I said this before. I'll say it again. We overrate our players. I mean, I feel like that's the DC sports fan thing. I don't blame.
Every fan base does that.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But like we overrate our players, I feel like more than other franchises because of the fact that we don't really know what insanely great players look like, at least in terms of our basketball team.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal, again, he's a very good player, bro. He's not going to get you anywhere as the alpha guy. And you paid him a boatload of money. What, $250 million plus, I think it was? And no trade clause for Bradley Beal. I'm sorry. I respect him. Did some great things off the court, just like John Wall did a lot of great. Speaking of John Wall, shout out to him. I had a conversation with a Lakers fan a couple of days ago talking about how I very much believe in the Clippers this year. And I think this year might be their year because of John Wall and how big of a pickup that might be. Yeah.
Kawhi is a dog, man. He is so good.
I know, bro. People forget. Yep. And John Wall.
Denny Avdia too. Man, this might be the year, man.
Stop, bro. That's what I mean, bro.
Either him or Rui.
Go ahead, Corey.
One of those two guys have to step up and show that they can like be maybe what?
Pedro, that's been the thing though. Like we've been saying, Roy has had to step up for years now, and he hasn't. Like, at what point are we gonna think?
Like last year, I was thinking the same thing, but like it kind of, I feel like he gets like, you can't really judge him off last year because like he literally missed like 40 games because of his mental health, and then after that, they literally played him like 25 minutes a game because of that. Like you really never got to see Rui last year at his full potential. So I am more high on Rui than I am Denny. I just need one of those two, or you can throw in Corey and Johnny Davis. One of those four to be borderline all-star or better. One of those four, that's going to be tough. But if we can get one of those four to be borderline all-star better, and you add them to Porzingis, Beal, and Kuzma, then maybe they can be a 6-7 seed eventually.
I don't believe this team, bro.
Wait, Ed, what's your prediction? Give me your prediction, Ed.
If he's still in the chat, yeah.
Ed's the Wizards expert, so
I know. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see if he's more optimistic than us casuals. I mean, like we obviously follow the Wizards, but like not as closely as Ed, of course. So interested to see what his prediction is. But yeah, back to Jordan. Jordan's the GOAT. I don't think.
I think you need to go to Chicago, dude.
Nachi loves LeBron. Nachi loves LeBron, but even he could admit that Jordan is better. It's just like, come on.
I've never
When
met a
we're talking
Cavs
about
fan.
bias here, Abdullah, I'm showing
What?
that I'm not biased. Abdullah,
That's
I
the
think you're playing
problem.
well.
That's how you know you're a fake Cavs fan. If you don't even,
I'm a big Cavs
dude,
fan.
this guy,
a
Says the
LeBron
fake
James,
LeBron fan who talked up Steph
LeBron
Curry this
James
entire
is the
postseason.
only
Oh
reason
my
why
gosh.
the
Fake
Cleveland
LeBron
Cavaliers
fan.
are relevant in history. LeBron
Oh,
James
really?
is the only reason
Really?
why he's
Really?
saying.
Is he going to be the reason why we're about to win a chip with Donovan Mitchell in a couple of years?
Get the
Once we get a
hell
starting
outta
three,
here.
once we get a
Dude,
starting three, in a couple
Jordan.
offseasons?
Okay, wait. You can say the same thing about Jordan. What have the Bulls done without Jordan? Literally, like, what have they done before or after?
Literally, after Jordan left, they won 60 games. Dude, they were still
One
good.
time.
When
One
LeBron
time.
left, the Cavs were a laughing stock.
What were the
Scottie
Bulls
Pippen.
before?
Scottie
What were the
Pippen.
Bulls before Jordan and after Jordan? That's
Scottie
the question.
Pippen, the guy that literally was his wingman, literally said LeBron's a better player. Scottie Pippen.
Because
Stop.
he's
You
got
said Jordan
so
was
much
that person,
bias
man.
because he's hating
Exactly. He was hating.
because Jordan
Come on, bro.
the last dance
Context
thing,
is everything.
like before the last dancing thing, everything came out. He said Jordan was better. So also
See
I
this,
do
Ed?
think Giannis is the best player
It's
in
cap.
the NBA right now. I think Giannis is the best player in the NBA.
I agree. Giannis is number one. This is where we're going to disagree, though.
You got
bro.
LeBron at 2.
LeBron's number 2.
Yeah.
I got
Put LeBron in the Warriors, bro. I swear to you, bro, they would have won the championship. I swear to you, bro.
Obviously.
I swear to you.
LeBron James.
It's tough. I would probably I think LeBron's in the top 5 for sure. There's a lot of people that have him at like top, like don't even have him in the top 10. I think he's definitely in the top 10 for sure. Top. I think it's debatable top 5. I think I have him there, though. I would say, like, you could say right now, Joel could be in that top 5.
I agree.
Nikola could be as well, and then Luka.
I think KD.
Potentially. KD.
Steph Curry.
KD, Steph. Yeah.
Steph. Yeah, I think those guys are all in there for
right?
sure.
Naughty Steph Curry.
Yeah. Although if we're talking about building a team, I'd rather build a team with. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like at this day and age, like, I think Joel and Nicole are great players, but it's like really like I feel like you gotta have a guard or a wing player to win in this league. So, yeah.
I still think the top 3 players in I know they were the top 3 last year, really the last couple of years, but I still think the top 3 players are Giannis, LeBron, and KD. That's been my take. I know KD. We saw what happened, and I think that shows you that KD will never be on LeBron's level. This man's got swept. On his own team with a healthy Kyrie. Got swept. Not lost a series. Swept. Not in the finals. In the first round. Ed. And I know Ed was like, "Oh, KD's gonna show up." We had this back and forth on Twitter. I still think LeBron's better than KD. I think KD's better than LeBron. Ed was like, "Oh, just wait until the postseason." I waited till the postseason. Oh, I know Ed's gonna be like, "What? At least KD made it to the postseason." But
this is so off topic, and then I gotta go. But
okay.
This is so off topic, but when we're talking about the playoffs, like everyone's gassing up Jalen Hurts right now. Everyone is gassing up Jalen Hurts right now. Talk to me in the playoffs when he actually produces, because I just don't like. You're asking me who I trust more. I trust Brady over Hurts, Josh Allen, even Rodgers. I do not trust Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to win 12-ish, maybe even 13 games. But let's say 12 games in the regular season, 12, 13 games. One comes playoff time, I think that maybe they'll win 1 or 2 games. Oh, my God. This is the thing. This is the thing that me and Ed, like, I think, honestly, this is, like, one of the only things we disagree on, like, on anything, is Scott Turner. And, like, I was a Scott Turner defender. I think he had I think I overrate him, and I think Ed overhates him because I think that I agree. I agree with that part that he never should have gotten an extension. I think this should have been his prove it year, and if the offense plays well, you extend him. If not, you let him go. I totally agree with you on that. I just think that he did some good things last year with like a lack of weapons and a lack of QB play. And first game of the season, I thought he, did a really good job. Second game, first half was awful. Second half was good. The third game, just trash. He was trash. There's no defending anything in that third game. We'll see the next few games. There's a lot of people that act like, honestly, I was seeing people like, you guys know Steve on Twitter, he thinks that Scott Turner should be like a head coach for us next year. And like,
I heard that after the first week too, especially like people were like, oh, they're trying to hide him under wraps, like, keep Scott Turner to ourselves so that he can be next up. Robin Barry's just letting the seat be warm for him,
I'm not that big of a fan. I just think that, like, I don't know. We'll see. Ed's probably right. I don't think he's the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen, but we'll see what happens in the next few weeks if Scott Turner can improve. But yeah, we'll see. Appreciate you guys having me on. Quick plug: I will be streaming today at like 6:30 with Rio, so make sure you guys pull up to that. Should be fun.
For sure. With that being said, I'm sorry, Pedro. I did not expect this stream to be as long as possible.
The basketball debate at the end.
Exactly. When you bring up Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, I got to Burt Curry himself. I got to go off. I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm sorry, Pedro. Before you leave, I say we do I get someone we can do a 2-on-2 debate with LeBron and MJ. I say we one night.
Who's your second guy? Who's your second guy?
Don't worry, bro. I know somebody. Don't worry.
I think I know who it is, bro.
Yeah.
Stop it, bro. Hey, Pedro and I are on the same team in a debate, bro.
Come on.
It's gonna be like that, bro. Stop it.
I'm proposing it.
Nah. But with that being said, again, appreciate you, Pedro, the man, for coming on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate you very much. Ed as well in the comments. Ed, speaking of, check your DMs. Hopefully we get a live stream going in the future. We'll see. But with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMVSportsZone channel. We like to post fire content like this as much as possible. Also go follow our Twitter page at DMVSportsZone, Instagram page, all lowercase DMVSportsZone, and our TikTok run by Abdullah, especially at DMVSportsZone as well. Pedro, thank you once again. Guys, go make sure to sub him up. I made sure to link his channel in the description. And with that being said, hopefully we get a dub tomorrow, beat the Cowboys, and we'll be back here with some positive news. But with that being said, hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday and see you on the next one. Peace.